The evening was calm in Los Angeles. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow across the city. Cars rushed past, their headlights reflecting on the wet streets after a sudden drizzle. It was one of those nights when the city seemed alive, yet there was a strange calmness in the air. A black SUV slowly pulled into the parking lot of a trendy, upscale restaurant. The driver stepped out, walked over to open the back door, and out stepped a man in a plain black hoodie, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his face. He didn't want anyone recognizing him tonight. This wasn't just any man. This was Vin Diesel, one of the biggest action stars in the world, known for his roles in blockbuster films and his signature deep voice. People knew him everywhere he went. Paparazzi usually followed him, fans screamed his name, but tonight, he wasn't looking for attention. He wasn't even looking for a fancy meal. He was here for a reason that no one else knew. What most people didn't know was that this high-end restaurant wasn't just another place Vin visited, he actually owned it. He had opened this restaurant quietly a couple of years ago, not for fame or money, but because of his love for food, family, and creating a safe space where people could enjoy a meal together. He rarely visited unannounced, preferring to let his team run things, but tonight he felt a strange urge to come by without telling anyone. He wanted to see what the restaurant was like on a normal night, without the staff scrambling because the boss was coming. Vin slipped his hands into his hoodie pockets, pulled his cap lower, and walked through the glass doors. The warm smell of roasted garlic, fresh bread, and grilled steak filled the air. The sound of soft jazz music played in the background. The restaurant was busy but not overly packed. People laughed, clinked glasses, and enjoyed their meals. The staff moved gracefully, balancing trays of food, refilling drinks, and checking on customers. Vin found a quiet corner booth, away from the main floor, and slid into it. He waved over a young hostess, who smiled warmly and handed him a menu. She had no idea who he was. He liked that. As he glanced through the menu he had personally helped design, he couldn't help but feel proud. The restaurant was thriving, and the customers seemed happy. But then, something unusual caught his attention. From the back hallway, near the staff-only area, he heard a soft, muffled sound. At first, he thought it was just noise from the busy kitchen. But then he realized it was crying. Someone was sobbing quietly, trying hard not to be heard. Vin's instincts kicked in immediately. He had always been a compassionate person, known for his loyalty to his friends and family. Something about that sound tugged at his heart. Without making a scene, he got up from his seat and casually made his way toward the hallway, pretending to look at the artwork on the wall. The closer he got, the clearer the sound became. It was definitely crying, and it was coming from a small staff room near the kitchen. Vin glanced around. No one was paying attention to him. He gently pushed the door open and peeked inside. Sitting on a bench, with her head buried in her hands, was a young waitress in her early 20s. Her black apron was crumpled, and her shoulders shook as she tried to hold back tears. Her name tag read, Emily. Vin felt a pang in his chest. He didn't know her, but something about the sight of her crying alone in this little room struck a chord with him. He stepped inside quietly and softly cleared his throat. "Hey, are you okay?" he said gently, his deep voice soft but carrying concern. Emily quickly looked up, startled. Her eyes were red and puffy, and she immediately wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand. She forced a small smile. "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to, I'll be fine." "I'm sorry," she stammered, clearly embarrassed. She didn't recognize him at all, and he preferred it that way. Vin stepped closer and crouched down so he was at eye level with her. "You don't have to apologize," he said softly. "You're clearly upset. What's going on?" Emily hesitated, her lips trembling. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but tears filled her eyes again. She shook her head. "It's nothing, really. I'm just being dramatic." Vin gave her a kind smile. "Something tells me it's not nothing. Come on, you can talk to me. No judgment." Emily stared at him for a moment, unsure if she should open up to a stranger. But there was something comforting about him. Something in his voice, his calm demeanor, and his gentle eyes made her feel safe. She took a shaky breath. It's been a really hard few months. My mom is in the hospital, she has cancer. And I'm working double shifts to pay for her treatment because we don't have insurance. Tonight, my manager yelled at me because I messed up an order, and I feel like I'm failing at everything." Her voice cracked, and tears spilled down her cheeks again. Vin's heart sank. He had heard many stories of people struggling, but hearing it directly from someone so young, so overwhelmed, broke his heart. "I'm so sorry you're going through this," he said softly, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're not failing. You're doing everything you can for your mom. That makes you stronger than most people I know." Emily tried to smile, but more tears came. "I'm just so tired. I haven't slept properly in weeks. I feel like I'm drowning, and I can't tell anyone because I need this job. I can't afford to get fired." Vin felt a lump in his throat. He could see how exhausted she was, how much pain she was carrying alone. He took a deep breath. "You're not alone, Emily," he said firmly. "You don't know me, but I promise you, things are about to get better." Emily looked confused. Why are you saying that?" Vin smiled faintly and pulled his cap off. Emily's eyes widened as recognition slowly spread across her face. Her jaw dropped slightly. "Oh my God, you're Vin Diesel," she whispered, stunned. Vin chuckled softly. "Yeah, that's me," he said, giving her a small nod. "In this restaurant, it's mine." Emily's mouth fell open in shock. She wiped her tears quickly, suddenly embarrassed. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Mr. Diesel. I didn't know you were here. I shouldn't be crying at work, I'm so sorry." Vin shook his head. "Hey, stop, don't apologize. You're a human being. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to feel. And I'm glad I came here tonight because now I know how hard you've been working." Emily sniffled, trying to process what was happening. Vin stood up and extended his hand to her. "Come on, let's step outside for a bit. Get some fresh air." Emily hesitated but took his hand. He led her out through the back door to a quiet alley behind the restaurant. The cool night breeze brushed against their faces. She took a deep breath, finally able to relax for a moment. Vin leaned against the wall, looking at her with genuine concern. "How long has this been going on?" Emily shrugged, hugging herself. "A few months. Mom's been in and out of the hospital. My dad, he left when I was a kid, so it's just me taking care of her. I pick up every extra shift I can, but it's never enough. Some days I skip meals just to save money for her medicine." Vin felt his chest tighten. This young woman was sacrificing everything for her mother, yet she felt invisible. "You're incredible, Emily," he said. "You're stronger than you." "No." Emily gave a weak smile. "I don't feel strong. I feel exhausted." Vin nodded. "I get that, but you know what? You don't have to do this alone anymore." Emily blinked in confusion. "What do you mean?" Vin took out his phone and made a quick call. Within minutes, one of his assistants arrived. Vin whispered something to him and handed him a black card. "Emily," Vin said gently, "I'm going to cover your mom's medical bills." "All of them." Emily froze. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. What? "No, I can't let you." Vin held up a hand. "Listen to me. You've been carrying this weight all by yourself for too long. You deserve help, and I can help, so let me." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes again, but this time they weren't tears of sadness. She shook her head in disbelief. I don't even know what to say. Why would you do this for me?" Vin smiled softly. "Because I believe in family. And right now, you and your mom, your family. You've shown more courage than most people ever will. And I want you to know that good people still exist." Emily covered her mouth with her hands, sobbing quietly. Thank you so much. You don't know what this means to me." Vin stepped forward and gave her a warm hug. "You deserve it. You've earned this." They stood there for a moment, Emily crying into his shoulder, finally feeling the weight of her struggles lifting. Over the next hour, Vin arranged everything. His assistant contacted the hospital, covered all outstanding bills, and ensured Emily's mom would get the best care possible. Vin also told the restaurant manager to give Emily paid time off so she could spend more time with her mother. When Emily returned inside, her coworkers noticed her red eyes but didn't say anything. They had no idea what had just happened. Vin slipped back into his booth, finally ordering a meal. As he ate quietly, he watched Emily from across the room. She was still emotional, but there was a new light in her eyes. She moved with a sense of relief, knowing she didn't have to fight this battle alone anymore. After finishing his meal, Vin left a massive tip for the staff and quietly slipped out of the restaurant. He didn't want any publicity. This wasn't for cameras or headlines. This was about helping someone who deserved kindness. The next day, Emily visited her mom in the hospital and told her everything. Her mother broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the generosity of a man they had only seen on a movie screen. Word eventually spread among the restaurant staff about what Vin had done, but he never spoke about it publicly. For him, kindness wasn't about recognition. It was about doing the right thing when no one was watching. In the weeks that followed, Emily's mom received top-notch treatment, and her health began to improve. Emily returned to work part-time, and every time she saw Vin, she greeted him with a smile full of gratitude. He always reminded her, family is everything. Vin Diesel's quiet act of kindness changed Emily's life forever. She no longer felt alone, and her story became a reminder to everyone that no matter how famous or successful someone is, true greatness lies in compassion and empathy. So next time you see someone struggling, remember this story. A small act of kindness can completely change someone's life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family so we can spread more stories of kindness around the world.